And lastly, on this this rematch clause, what would your response to be to, if you like, Fury fans, UK boxing fans, who would say, even if Alexander were to beat Tyson on April 29th and the rematch was to happen at Wembley, later on in the year, that Tyson still deserves a 50-50 split? What would your, response be, that he brings, the stadium with him, the British boxing public, the pay-per-view sales? What would your response be to that, Alex?
Did you see the numbers of Tyson Fury Derek Chisora pay-per-view?
I haven't been given those numbers, no. Have you?
Unfortunately, yes. And did you see the numbers that Usyk Chisora generated?
Remind me.
Investigate, if you investigate both numbers, you will see the significant difference in the numbers. And I tell you why. Because Tyson Fury is completely overestimated. Look at his last 3 fights. How much pay-per-view did he sell? 1 million pay-per-views at least once?
I believe not. I don't have the numbers, but I believe nothing hit 1 million.
No, he never sold. His numbers were lower than even AJ's numbers. His biggest asset is tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So he's selling stadiums like Tottenham in December with Chisora fight. But the figures on pay-per-view were not that not that good. Let's be polite.
Mm-hmm.
Not that good. So it didn't work good enough for the promoter.
Mm-hmm.
And from that perspective, how can we treat Tyson like he is the biggest star? If he is a biggest star, let's look at the numbers. So Usyk last 3 fights and Tyson last 3 fights. Who generated more? And if you look at the numbers, you will see that Usyk fights generated more pay-per-views than Tyson fights. So it's very clear. If Tyson wants to prove the opposite, just let him disclose the numbers.
Welcome back to a rather impromptu and somewhat special episode of The Hardcore Casual with your boy, Base the Kid. Now, as you just saw from Alexander Krassyuk and Umar from IFL TV, Alex said something that I've pretty much been saying for the last month. The last couple months, actually, if we're going to be honest. Ever since this whole 70-30 split thing came up between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. And every time I brought to attention, well, no one can actually say that Usyk isn't a commercial draw, or that he's not known, or that he's not doing his part to sell a fight. It was always, give off, Fury's the A side, and look, the tickets are going to be because of him, let Usyk fight Dubois or Hrgovic or Joyce and see what the numbers are, blah blah blah. Well, what did Alex Krassyuk just say? Like, Usyk with Chisora did more numbers than Fury and Chisora, which is something I stated time ago. All right, and he said he's actually been given the pay-per-view number, so he actually knows the proper number. The number we've all speculated on, he knows the real one, and he said, unfortunately, yes, I know the numbers. So that tells you right there that it can't be good. If a man said, unfortunately, I know, it's not even, it was he didn't even say it was a respectable number. He was just like, no, unfortunately, yeah, I know the numbers, and we did more with Chisora than he did. Now so then you're gonna say, all right, well, Chisora was the one that sold the pay-per-view, but was he? Again, I go back to the exact same point of, apparently he did about 603,000 pay-per-view buys with Tony Bellew being the undisputed cruiserweight champ, Tony Bellew being the WBC emeritus champ, and he went in there and did 600,000. He then goes in there, allegedly does 1.2 million with Derek Chisora. Again, let's even cut it in half, as I always say. All right, let's not take that at face value. Let's say it was another 600,000. Yeah. Okay. But then we definitely know that there was 1 point something million each time with the AJ fights. Forget Barb viewing figures, we're talking pay-per-view buys here. That's what it says, right? 1.2, then another 1.2 in Saudi Arabia. So we therefore have a metric, because when AJ faced Pulev, the fight before that, he was supposedly, it was between 800 and 900,000. Yeah, I saw a report saying about 843. I saw another one that said 948. So I'm going to go to the lowest possible one. So that's what I saw, 843. So then you go from 843 with Pulev to 1.2 with Usyk. That has to tell you that he must have some kind of market value, because then why is there not another 843 to this Ukrainian that doesn't speak English that no one knows? So from the start, I've told people this whole perception of who the A side is. Yeah, cool, it's in your country. You should definitely get a portion based on that. I've always advocated for 50-50 based on commercial, you know, but if you want to add some of the other stuff in there, 60-40 fine. But Usyk dropped the 70-30, said, all right, cool, 70-30, but I want 1 million for the Ukraine, for their relief fund or whatnot. Now, apparently, according to Alex Krassyuk in other interviews, Fury only heard the part about 70-30, and it's almost like he disregarded that second bit. So when it came to the negotiations, all of a sudden he wasn't happy to include that, or to give that million, put that million in escrow for the people of Ukraine. Okay, so then we start hearing about other things, who walks first, who weighs in first, blah blah blah, all of that sorted. Now we got the rematch. So Fury said, oh well, they're dicking around with the rematch, let's take it out. So then Fury's the person that put the rematch in the clause to begin with, then says, oh no, we don't want that, take it out. So then, but that now creates another issue and another problem to basically overcome, because the whole point of Usyk taking 70-30 in his first fight is because you've put this rematch clause in for him to say, okay, you know what, I'll take that in the first fight, but when it comes to the second one, I want the same in the rematch if I win. So Fury's like, no, take it out. But then Frank Warren came on TalkSport and said he convinced Tyson Fury, no, we need the rematch clause, put it back in just in case. So Tyson agrees to it. But now the issue is, if Tyson wins, he says he wants the rematch at 80-20 for him. But if he loses, it's 50-50. Big man, if you lose to Alexander Usyk after man has allegedly, and I'm going to say that because, again, there's one number that I'm not 100% sure of, but there's two that I am, but allegedly done over 3 million pay-per-views in his last 3 fights in the UK, and now beats you, and you still think that you're 50-50 with him, after he's now taken everything from you, including whatever viewership you thought you had as well. All 4 belts. The Ring Magazine belt is still there, that's his possession as well. The lineal status is now his. What do you have apart from potentially a UK audience? But guess what? The fight's probably not even going to be in the UK, but you want 50-50. How are you now the A side? Everything here just stacks up to tell you that my man is not, he's not on job. And I'm glad that finally it's not just me that's seeing it. Some of his biggest supporters are now seeing the bullshit, yeah? But I just like the fact that finally someone else has brought up the fact that he is not this commercial monster that he likes to think he is, or he perceives that he is. Alex said himself, yeah, he does, you know, everything he talks about is ticket sales, but no one don't want to tell you the pay-per-view numbers. Why is that? Because outside of the people going to watch the event, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, am I lying? Because I'm sure if I was lying, them pay-per-view numbers would be out by now. All of them. I ain't seen one set ever from him. Well, not the UK ones anyway. I know all of his US numbers. I know everything that he sold over in the US. You know, we still ain't heard about the Tom Schwartz pay-per-view, because that was box office. Or the Otto Wallin box office. Wilder 2 box office. Wilder 3 box office. Dillian White, Derek Chisora 3. But yet you don't want to give us the numbers, or not the numbers from this side. Why is that? I mean, if you say to yourself, okay, well, the last ones, the ones that was in America, well, they don't count because that was 4 a.m, you know, people don't really stay up till 4 a.m, so yeah, we might only have done 200,000-300,000. Okay, that makes sense, fair enough. Now you've had 2 primetime UK, Wembley, 94,000 supposedly in attendance. Boom. Best moment in time to show that you are the king of the division and whatnot, right? And the numbers are, because I heard a number, and the number I heard was around about it was between 380 and 410,000 pay-per-view buyers. That's what I heard. That's a rumor I heard. Now they say that Chisora 3, I mean, Frank tried to act like it was 500,000, but I also heard that the pay-per-view numbers for that were less than what the Dillian Whyte ones were, which would make total sense because Chisora 3 was a fight no one had asked for and nobody thought Chisora had a chance. And the only reason people accepted it is because he said, well, AJ wouldn't fight me on this date. I need a fight just before I fight Alexander Usyk at the end of February, or what was it, the 3rd of March or the 4th of March. Like that was the cutoff point. So I need this, and then I'm going to get straight back into camp. And then straight after the fight, we start hearing things about, oh yeah, I got some elbows that need surgery, so you know they might take 6 to 8 weeks, but we'll see what happens. Blah blah blah. And then this that, all of this talking, shouting in Usyk's face. Joe Joyce stepping up into the scene as well, just randomly looking lost from what I've heard. You know, I've only seen parts of that little bit. Again, I've still not watched that fight. So you ain't got a view from me, and they haven't even put that on the BT Sport YouTube channel yet, which is a bit surprising. But yeah, so you've got all of that, and then that date quickly moved from what was it? Was it the 26th of February, and then the 3rd of March or the 4th of March, and now all of a sudden it's April 29th. But we was told, oh no, well this fight is easy to get on because we don't have to deal with rival promoters now. Yeah, easy to go. It's 50-50. And you know what? If you want, I might even put that clip right here just so you can kind of see that.
There's no problem with them. And the good thing about this, there aren't rival TV companies involved. They don't have any promotional ties. So it's, you know, the terms of the deal are really simple. It's going to be a 50-50 split, but it's where we can generate the most income to make it work.
So supposedly it's all go. It's a 50-50. And that's on camera. In front of the entire nation that watches TalkSport. But all of a sudden now it has to be 70-30. And conveniently, Tyson Fury mentioned the whole 70-30 thing when he knew that the deadline was coming towards Usyk and the WBA before he was going to be ordered to face his mandatory. So he came out, I think it was literally a day before that deadline was looming, to back Usyk into this corner where he thought, well, he'll never take this. He's gonna have to leave me alone. I get to do what I want for a little while longer. Nope, called your bluff. Now all of a sudden, okay, if terms are agreed because Warren and the team said, no, we're all good, we've got that. Krasiuk and the team, yeah, no, we're good. Now all of a sudden, Fury finds something else, and then something else. And now, as we're hearing, it's something else. So again, Egas, Klimas, and then they all said, we agree 70-30 if the date is April 29th. Anything other than that, it goes back to 50-50 because we've been pushed around, we've been held off. Like, you think you're just gonna treat us like we're some any people after what we've accomplished and what we've done, when we've actually contributed more to pay-per-view numbers in this country than you have, and you think that you're just gonna take the piss. Nah, sir, don't work that way. But yeah, I just wanted to bring some of my own little personal flavor to that because I'm just happy that people are saying what I've been saying. Finally, I mean, you know, it takes for me to be the quote-unquote martyr that people are, get over it, whatever. But now I'm not the only one that's saying it. There's powerful people saying the exact same thing. So you gotta listen, right? Even if you don't want to listen from me, that's cool. But I know for a fact I was the first one saying it. Just trying to think, is there anything here that I've missed that I would also say, let me add this into the equation? Yeah, let's talk about the rematch clause real quick. Okay, so clearly, as again, Usyk said that he fought 70-30, and then if he wins, he gets 70-30 in the rematch. But then Fury said, well, no, 80-20 if I win, but if you win, 50-50. And he's like, well, hold on a minute, but I've already just given up. I've basically given you like 40 points here and there. Like, why would I do that? There's a 40-point swing between what you're asking for and what I'm accepting. But now you want to be on level pairing with me when you have absolutely nothing to offer. So he's like, well, okay, you want to take the rematch clause out? Okay, cool. If you take that rematch clause out, we're back to 50-50. Because the payday that you're offering, he said it was 3 times less. Krasiuk said it was 3 or 4 times less than what he got in his last fight of AJ. So in actual fact, his payday has already come and gone. Like, this is just icing on the cake. And again, he said, I don't care about Fury. It's the same thing Anthony Joshua said. I don't care about Fury. I care about the belt that you hold. If you have that belt, I'm coming after you. If you give up that belt, I don't care about fighting Tyson Fury. I want to fight whoever has that belt or whoever is next in line for that belt. Like, if Tyson Fury gave that belt up, Alexander Usyk can campaign to be put in the number 1 in the mandatory position to also fight for the vacant title. Now, I'm sure he doesn't want to fight for a vacant title. He wants to dethrone a champion, but ultimately he wants undisputed. So if that means that he's got to fight for a vacant belt, or Fury were to lose or something, or get an illness and he has to vacate, Usyk doesn't care about Fury. Krasiuk said it himself. Even Usyk said it in that last video. I want undisputed. So either give up the belt or stop playing these stupid games. That's what he said. So he's coming for the belt. He doesn't care about Tyson Fury. And even when, one last thing I'll put out in this, because I believe, yeah, it should be 70-30 to the winner in the rematch. Or you maybe say, okay, if it's Tyson Fury that wins, you say 70-30 again. But if Usyk wins, maybe 60-40. If you want to try and play it that way, that would seem fair, right? If you're going to say, well, it's in my country, I'm the A side, whatever. Outside of that, though, let's just look at the overall optics of the situation. So you never really wanted to fight. And the only reason when you say, oh, well, I got 70-30 out of you, well, the only reason you got 70-30 is because one person wants this fight more than the other. Like, if we look at it in that case, Tyson, people say, oh, Tyson negotiated what he's worth. No, he didn't negotiate what he's worth. He negotiated what the other person was willing to give him. Because if Usyk really didn't want to go lower than 60-40 or 55-45 or 50-50, he wouldn't have. He would have said, all right, you know what, I'll come back to you later. I'm going to handle this mandatory. I'm going to do whatever. You carry on doing your foolishness and we'll talk when you're serious. Or he would have just walked away straight away. It's only because Usyk wants to fight more than Fury does. That's the only reason Fury holds any kind of power in this situation. Because for everyone who tries to give him an out, he doesn't care about legacy, undisputed, all these things. He doesn't care about being even the champion. He just cares about being in a position where he can make the most amount of money for the least amount of risk. And he knows that's not Alexander Usyk. That's factual. And I've even heard him say that several times. Everyone thought, oh, he's bipolar. Yeah, but guess what? When he says something more than once, it means that he's telling the truth. Yeah. And on that particular occasion, he directly said, I don't care about the belts. I've held them all before. They mean nothing to me. And then he'll say, I don't care about money. Then he'll say, pay me, but I want this money for this fight because that's the only reason I'm going to take this fight, is for the money. That was the only reason he had a position of power. So it wasn't it wasn't due to commercial value why he was able to get the 70-30. It was just the fact that Usyk wanted the legacy and wanted the belt more than he did. And that's the only reason. But I guess in a way you can say to a degree that is power, in a position of power. When someone else wants something more than you, they're probably willing to sacrifice more than you are in that moment to get it. So when it comes to things like sports and being the best, that always makes you second. But when it comes into negotiations, or if someone wants something better than you, then they probably can't negotiate as good a deal as maybe they'd want, because you're always prepared to walk away, whereas they kind of want what they want. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. This wasn't a video I was planning to do today. Keep an eye on the channel later on today. Basis picks will be out. It's actually a day early, only because of the Christian Mabili and Carlos Gongora fight that is taking place in Canada later on, and I definitely want to give my pick on that. there's a lot of action over this weekend, and it's not just Wasserman and, you know, BT's Queensbury and Boxer. Let's not forget there's also a top rank card on Jose Ramirez and Senicia Estrada on Saturday night. So yes, there's going to be a lot of picks. It might have to be a 2-part video, I'm not sure, but we'll definitely get one out later on today. But thank you for watching this very impromptu episode, but hey, it counts. And please like, subscribe and share, and that is me done. So peace.